Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. It is February and the weather seems to be holding strong for spring. Very interesting. We've been seeing a lot of things on social media about spring market already being here. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see if that holds true with the weather staying the way it is. But we are definitely going to find out. So just a couple announcements. If you haven't seen already or you haven't RSVP'd, we have our event coming up on Saturday. And if you have an RSVP, take a look at the NRG Facebook Connect page. And then also I do know that Jeremy has been sending out email reminders on that as well. But have a nice get together planned for Saturday if you can make it. That would be amazing. I'm gonna open up the floor real quick while we're waiting for Tony to jump on here and see if there's anybody who has any buyer or seller needs this morning.
Hi, Jill.
Hello.
Oh,
Anybody got any buyer or seller needs? Any listings? Anything coming up they want to chat
actually,
about?
how are you? I'm running errands, but I was just gonna say Do you hear me, Jill?
You're breaking up.
Okay. I wonder. I don't know why. Do you hear me now?
That's a little bit
No,
better. Yes.
it's okay. I'll just. Okay. I'm outside. I don't know. It looks sunny.
Oh, we are not catching that. I'm not sure what's going on with your service. We will have to come back to that. Yep, it looks like it's not working. But what I am gonna do is we'll bring this back up at the end and get her back on there. I am gonna introduce Tony with the Minnesota Home Guys. If you guys did not know, the Minnesota Home Guys are a part of our brokerage. They are a tool and a resource that we can definitely, any agent at NRG can use. They are an amazing team. If you haven't done anything with them on the wholesale side, they are definitely something that you can use. So I'm going to hand the floor over to Tony, and I'm going to let him talk a little bit about what they do and how they can help you as a real estate agent.
Well, thank you, Jill. I appreciate it. Good morning,
Yeah.
everybody. Thanks for having me. A little bit about myself. So I've been in real estate for about 12 years in total. Done a handful of things over those 12 years. Was a realtor. Most recently was working for a private equity group that was buying single family rentals. So doing all the acquisitions for them. I joined the Home Guys actually just about 1 month ago, but when I was working for this private equity group, we bought quite a few homes through the Home Guys. So I knew them, for about 4 years. I was purchasing some properties, so I knew the folks over there pretty well and really appreciated how they did business and their values, and they really seemed to be sort of aligned with my own personal values. So when this opportunity came up to join the Home Guys, I was excited to do that. And yeah, so here we are. So I'm going to dive in and tell you a little bit about the Home Guys. I'll share my screen here. Open up. All right, sorry. All right, let me know. All right, is that working?
Yes. Yep, we can see that.
Let me open this up here. Oops. All right, there we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so Minnesota Home Guys. So we've been around since 2017. James and Jaden were the two founders of the company. They started the company actually out of a basement out in their neighborhood in Savage. So really, have grown the business from the ground up. Over the course of about 7 years, grown quite a bit. So we have about 20 folks that work at our office in Bloomington. The entire sales operation teams are based here in the Twin Cities, so a little bit different from maybe some of the national competitors. We are a very local operation. We know the market very well, and we pride ourselves on, being sort of a local, a team that's knowledgeable about the local market, and so that's something that we, feel like we have a bit of an advantage over some of the national competitors, just in that we really understand what folks here are looking for and how the market operates here. Over the course of the 7 years, we've done over 1,000 transactions. So we've really experienced a lot of different situations. Any sort of scenario that you can imagine coming up with seller situation, like we've probably encountered it. So we have a lot of experience in solving problems and creating solutions for folks. We have about 128 Google reviews, 4.9 out of 5 stars. So we do pride ourselves very much on providing a thorough, transparent, honest, excellent experience for our clients. If you guys have questions, feel free to jump in at any point too. So our mission is to be the most trusted home buying service in the area. We understand there are a lot of options out there, a lot of competitors, but we really, honestly, truly want to be the best out there. And it is a business, yes, of course. However, we are dedicated to serving people, really trying to understand their stories, show empathy. Like really, when a lot of the people that reach out to us are reaching out to us because they're in some sort of situation where, they're in some sort of distress possibly, or financial trouble, or, a lot of situations where they just need somebody to come in and help them get through that challenge. So we really view ourselves more as a real estate solutions company, more than a home buying company. We do buy homes, but really our business is about solving problems and coming up with solutions for sellers. With Home Guys, we do, we take care of everything, right? So the whole idea is we try to make it as simple and effortless as possible for the sellers. So, the things that generally we find are the things that are attractive to sellers are, we do all, they don't need to do any cleaning. So, and believe me, we come across some really interesting properties. So we have, all sorts of homes that, I think there are situations where people are they don't want to clean, I think, and there are also situations where people are embarrassed by maybe the state of their home. So, which is why they might want to avoid listing on the MLS and having a lot of people running through there. So, we have a lot of interesting stories of, we have we call it like the pig house. So like the house that has pigs living in it. We have the most recent one is a cat house. So we bought a house. We knew that it had a few cats, but as we got in there, started doing some work, we found we're up to 16 cats right now that we thought there were only like 3. And so over the course of about 4 weeks, we've discovered about 16. So we think we finally figured out where they were hanging out. But all that to say, like cleaning, leave it to us, we'll take care of it. No repairs. So again, we specialize in updating and repairing homes for the next homeowner. We try to make it easy, fast, and flexible. So we really are trying to work around the seller's needs. So if they need to close in 3 days, we can make it happen. If they want to close in 3 months, we can make that happen. If they need, they need some money and then a little bit of time, if you want to do like a delayed possession, because they need their money, but they need a little time to get out, we can make that work. So it's all about being flexible and really trying to accommodate the seller's needs. No closing costs or hidden fees. So we cover all the closing costs, the fees, point of sale inspection, stuff like that. And that's another difference too with the home guys is, you know, some of the national competitors will make an offer that looks wonderful to the seller. And then they come back in, do an inspection and start chipping away at that, what that initial offer was. So we don't want to do that. We don't want to have a reputation of setting someone's expectations too high and then, you know, undercutting them after. So the number that we give to a seller is, that's it. Everything's included. We're not going to come back afterwards and, you know, do an inspection and say, well, you know, we need another $15,000 off, or, you know, no, that's the number that we give is the final number, and the sellers can be confident in, you know, basing their decision off of that number.
Tony, can I maybe say too, the one difference between some of the other companies and what Minnesota Home Guys does is, they're physically going out to the property before they even give that offer. They're sending one of their agents out to that property, so they know what it looks like. They've got the pictures and they've done the underwriting beforehand.
Yep.
Versus some of the other competitors out there that haven't even stepped foot on the property, and then they come back afterwards and change the price.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thanks, Jill. Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, the other ones will, you know, they have their underwriting software that they use to spit out a number, but obviously if they haven't been to the property, it means nothing until they actually get eyes on it. So, yeah, I mean, I'll get to that in a second here, but that is part of the process. Is we send out a sales agent to every property to walk it, to understand the condition of the property, updates, you know, the seller's needs, wants. Are they leaving stuff? What's there that they're leaving? Are they leaving 20 cars parked in the driveway? That's fine. We just need to account for it. So we do all that information gathering at that appointment, so that our number is a real number that we can stand behind. Kinds of properties and situations that we generally find ourselves involved with. So you can see, so estates, I would say probably the biggest, you know, the biggest number of properties that we deal with are estates, or folks that are moving into assisted living or passed away, situations like that. But again, we come across all sorts of interesting situations. So, you know, of course, hoarder houses, fire houses, animal houses, unique properties that, like, I don't know, you know, maybe you come across property that's like, man, like, this is a weird, like, I don't know how to market this on the MLS. Like, it doesn't fit in any one bucket exactly. And really any condition property. I mean, truthfully, like, if it's in good condition, we are probably not the best fit, unless the situation of the seller is such that they need to get out right away. But like, in terms of the property itself, generally when we buy a property, it's, you know, it needs some love. So the sort of situations that we find ourselves involved in are people that just need to sell quickly. So that's often, you know, for a variety of reasons, right? Maybe financial reasons, or they're moving, somebody inherited a property and they just want to get rid of it, divorce, separation, probate stuff. Again, don't want to list on the MLS. You know, some sellers are just reluctant to go down the route of listing it on the MLS. And I'm a realtor too, so like, some people have negative perceptions of realtors, and they just don't want to list it on the MLS. So, or foreclosures is another thing that we find quite a bit. So we do buy basically all property types anywhere in the Twin Cities. So we don't have a specific buy box or set criteria. We're pretty, you know, if the deal works, you know, we'll take a look at basically any deal, and if we can make it work, then we'll make it work. So here's just a couple of examples of a fairly typical type of property that we would buy. I think this one was in Stillwater. So it's kind of a standard split level, but you know, dirty, gross stuff all over. Needs to be updated, but you know, it's listing this on the, you know, listing this on the MLS. Like sellers don't want to do anything. They don't want to clean out anything. You know, smoker house as well, so it has some odor. But this is pretty typical for what we would encounter. Let's see after that one. Another one. This one I think was in Big Lake. So, you know, and like this house, the condition wasn't awful, but just a lot of stuff in it. And sellers, you know, often they just want to leave everything for the most part. So, which we're happy to, you know, take, you know, get rid of it and recycle what we can and donate what we can. So, let's see after that one. All right, so the process. So this is sort of the process that we go through when somebody comes to us and says, hey, I'm interested in selling. So generally somebody will call us or they'll email us or submit a form on our website. So we have a handful of ways that we advertise. So we have billboards around town. You guys might have seen some of the billboards around town. We also do TV commercials. And then we do some online stuff as well. But so somebody reach out to us and we'll review what the seller's needs are. So we'll talk with you. If you guys bring us a deal, we'll talk with you to understand the situation. So you say, hey, Tony, I have this property in Bloomington. I think, you know, it sounds like the seller might want to go off, like might want to sell off market. Maybe they don't want to, you know, they don't seem to want to do any updates. They don't want to have people running through there. They just want to, you know, sell it and get some cash and get out quickly. So we'll go over that sort of initial step is to gather more information about the situation from you guys and what they're looking to do. Also, we'll do a referral contract with you. So I'll come back around to that. Next step is that we send out a sales agent. So we have a half dozen sales agents in the office that run around to every single property that before we make an offer on any property, we will go visit the property in person. We will take notes on the condition of the property, you know, see if there have been any updates in the past handful of years, do a rehab budget. So we'll kind of run some numbers, take notes, and try to get an idea of what we think it would cost to renovate the property to a point that, you know, makes sense to list it on the MLS. And we'll grab some pictures as well. We'll go back, sales agent will go back to our office, we'll review the notes, do some underwriting, determine what the after repair value is on the property, you know, finalize what renovation number would be. And so they do their underwriting. That underwriting gets bounced around to a few people within the company just to make sure that we're all on the same page. And then within 24 or 48 hours, we'll provide a cash offer to the seller. And, you know, based on the conversation with the seller's needs, we'll create, you know, an offer that is in line with what they're looking to do so that, you know, of course, everybody wants to get as much money as possible, but also, you know, do they need to sell in 3 days, or do they want to do a delayed possession, or, you know, different scenarios like that. So we try to understand what they need and include that in our offer. So why Minnesota Home Guys? So I understand, you know, there are a lot of other investors out there. There are a lot of, you know, there are other companies out there. So I would bet that most of you agents probably have existing relationships with other investors, and that's completely fine. We would, you know, love to be another option for you guys when you come across opportunities that would seem to be better for an investor or to go off market. So, you know, in my mind, so when I jump on board, like these are sort of some of the reasons that I think Minnesota Home Guys stands out, and why honestly I was excited to join the Home Guys a month ago. So we have a proven track record. So we've done 1,000+ transactions. So we've done a lot of volume. We've seen a lot of situations. We're able to be pretty creative in coming up with solutions. So, just with the sheer amount of experience and transactions that we've been through, we feel like we can develop an offer, a solution that will, is best for the seller. Again, Google reviews, 4.9 out of 5. So we really pride ourselves in providing a stellar service to our sellers. Professional operation that will follow through. So we have, like I mentioned, we have about 20 folks that work at the Home Guys. So we're a pretty, there are a lot of investors out there. Some of them are larger operations. A lot of them are smaller operations, or maybe it's just one person, and that's fine. However, we are a professional operation that can follow through and will follow through with what we say we're going to do. So if we say we're going to buy for X amount in 5 days, we will make that happen. And we're not going to come back to you after and be like, actually, we need another couple of weeks. Or, we want you to have confidence in us that we will follow through with what we say we're going to do. Local team, in-person site visits. So again, we talked about this already, but we are all local. We are all here. We are all in Bloomington. So we understand the market, and we understand, the needs of the sellers in a more personal way than maybe some of the national competitors, where everything is happening online and digitally. So no hidden fees or commissions or negotiating down after the offer is made. We talked about that already. We're always looking for the best solution for the seller. And honestly, sometimes that's not us. So, if somebody's looking for absolute top dollar for their property and it's in pretty good condition, like, we're probably not the best fit. Like, that's why they reach out to you guys, is to list on the MLS. They should probably go on the MLS with it. And we are, we're not a solution for everybody. So we recognize that. But we do, if somebody is reaching out to us, generally they're reaching out to us because they have a problem that needs to be solved. And we want to create a solution that is a win-win for everyone. And then again, we pride ourselves in having integrity, empathy, and transparency. So those are values that working with the Home Guys, like buying properties from them before, I really noticed. For me, working with the Home Guys I always viewed it as more of a partnership, and I feel like the values of the company really shine through during the transactions that I did with them. And so I'm proud to work for a company that has these values, and we really try to, have those values in everything that we do as a company. Agent referral program. So pretty simple. So you guys reach out, call me, email me,
What's the matter?
text me.
Hungry? We can facts out.
And
Just gonna take facts out.
I don't think
That.
so we'll, oops, sorry, go back. So we'll connect. You reach out. We'll talk about the property. Give us a little bit more information about where it is, the situation, the seller, what they're looking to do. We'll sign a referral agreement so that you guys get paid when the property closes. So in terms of commission, paying you guys a commission, what we generally pay out 2 to 3%. And generally, what we say is, whatever you are used to getting is what we'll pay you. And we want you guys to be, financially incentivized to bring us deals. So if you're used to getting 4%, that's fine. We just need to account for that when we are doing the underwriting on the property. So when we're writing our number, coming up with what we can offer, we'll factor that in. So obviously, if it's a 20% commission, it's going to make it harder to buy that deal. But we want you guys to be excited about bringing us deals. So we're open to what you guys are, whatever you're looking to get. Let us know. We'll have a conversation, and we'll factor that into our underwriting, and then it would be paid once we purchase the property. So the Home Guys, So we'll actually take it, depending on how involved you guys want to be in the process. You can simply be like, hey, here is this seller, and I think they'd be a good fit for you guys. So if you just want to go here, you deal with it, we're happy to do that. If you guys maybe have an existing relationship with the seller and you want to kind of be more involved in the process, you can do that. But if you really don't want to have anything to do with it, just pass it over. We'll take everything from start to finish, and we'll send you your commission check at the end. We'll provide constant communication, bring updates, closing, and if you guys have any questions throughout the process, we want to be very transparent. We want to provide a lot of communication. We want you to feel comfortable about the process. So we prefer to over communicate than under communicate. Then when transaction closes, you get paid. Any questions?
Tony, I think I'm gonna, for 1 second, to also bring in, because I know Paul is on the call. And I think, Paul, if you can maybe talk about what you do and maybe your email list, because that's something too. We have a lot of people who are real estate agents, but they're also investors themselves. So, Paul, could you maybe say what you do with the company?
Yeah, thanks, Jill, and thanks, Tony. And enjoyed watching that. So so hello everyone. So I run all of the dispositions for Minnesota Home Guys. So I know a lot of you probably hear dispositions and you're like, what the heck is that? Essentially, guys, it's wholesaling the properties. So we get a ton of leads in, obviously significantly more than we could actually take on and rehab ourselves. Sometimes they don't make sense to be a rehab. Tony kind of talked about offering different options to everyone. So what we actually will offer sellers is the ability to, go in front of a large investor list. It's a private list that we've put together, and allow other investors to look at it, and maybe somebody else would take the property. We do have a significant amount of real estate agents on the list. I mean, I think as the list as of today, it's probably 3 to 1 real estate agents versus just straight cash buyers. So I work with real estate agents quite a bit, whether they are representing an investor client or whether they're purchasing for themselves. Some of the best investors we have are real estate agents, because you guys have the knowledge of the properties, the market, how to rehab them, all those sorts of things, whether you're rehabbing it or collecting rentals or things like that. So we send out an email a couple times a week with new properties. On those deals, we do agent commission and all those things is gets built in throughout the negotiations. So all we ask is that on a deal like that there's a conversation between you and your client, if you're representing someone on kind of what your commission would be on an off-market deal and things like that. But if you guys want to see those properties, I know several of you have reached out and are on the list and getting them, but similar to Tony's, mine's just paul@homeguysmn.com, and we can help you. The other thing I was going to tell you guys is we also, just being solutions oriented, we have a lot of options to help if you guys have that problem property. I just helped another agent move one. He had sold it to a gentleman, and the gentleman's son had come in and started rehabbing it. It was in the city of Richfield, which, if any of you guys are common with working in the city of Richfield, transacting a property there can be a little difficult. Just a lot of city regulations and things like that. So, he wanted to help them get it moved because the property had become a real problem. And he had actually vacated the property, and, we were able to just quickly move it for them. He was still involved as, kind of the seller agent side. But, it's just, we can do a lot of things. So, if you guys come across those things, let us know. And, if you guys have clients or anything that are, investment, looking to add rentals, looking to do rehabs, subject to all these things, reach out and let us know. And I can, get you on the list, or, Tony or myself, or, Shelly, any of the team would love to sit down and chat with you guys.
Thank you, Paul.
Thanks,
I
Jen.
think we're gonna open it up for questions. I did see there was a few people who had questions, so if you want to unmute yourself and ask Tony or Paul the questions.
I have a question. So do you service down in the southern Minnesota area as well?
Yeah. So stuff that's in the metro area, stuff that's outside of the metro area, generally we will wholesale that. We generally aren't taking on rehabs for properties that are outside of the metro area, but we get a lot of properties that Paul is involved with that are outside of the metro area that we will wholesale. So, we have buyers that are located throughout the state. So yeah, anywhere, we get them everywhere, all sorts of interesting properties throughout the state. So yeah, it's for sure.
And I
Thank
just to chime in on that, I would tell you, from the disposition side, we are always looking for help, especially in, we get a lot of properties in from all across Minnesota, and, some small towns and things like that. I'm always trying to find help to, whether it be, do you know any local buyers, or even, do you want to host an open house, and, every single person that we get through, is a potential new client. But I love to partner with real estate agents that are more local to some of these outskirt properties. Because it is a challenge, guys. It's a challenge for us sometimes to truly move some of these properties. We have one in Tony, I'm blanking, but it's almost to the Iowa border. I had to look up the town to be honest.
Spring Valley, Leroy. That's where I'm from.
It was I'll tell you here in one sec.
That's C E Salem?
Ceylon, Ceylon.
Yep, I know where that is.
Okay, I honestly had to look it up, and I've I've been down there close, but I've never been in that town. So,
Yeah, I actually live in Spring Valley. So how would I partner with you?
Just
down in
send
this
one of us
area?
an email. We
Okay.
yeah, I honestly, I've been able to a little bit in southern Minnesota, a couple of when we get stuff up around Brainerd or Duluth or whatnot, we've got a couple people that have jumped in and said, we can help you move those. But there's a big parts of the state that I would love to have somebody that lives closer and knows that the specific market down there a little bit better. And yeah, so definitely reach out. I can tell you, we get this one, this Salon one, I'm what I end up doing is honestly searching on the internet for people real estate agents that kind of show up for representing that area, and calling them and saying, hey, do you know anybody looking to buy an investment property, in Salem? It's tough. So always looking for help there.
Okay, perfect.
Good
Thank you.
question. Thank you.
Is there any other questions out there for Tony or Paul?
This is a general question. I heard you guys saying about the federal, what do you say? The big buyers. Who are those big buyers?
The question was, who are the big buyers? Is that
Yeah.
what? Okay.
Yeah, outside Minnesota. Not Minnesota big buyers, the outside.
Tony can answer that. Tony used to be involved with probably one of the largest buying houses in Minnesota.
Yeah.
There's not, I can tell you from my side of things, and I'm attached to a lot of groups and things, and you see, some of these other areas that, there's, you see these groups and it all runs back to BlackRock or, we have not seen a lot of that in the Minnesota market. There's some groups that, have formed companies to rehab and things like that, they're still locally owned. We don't actually see a ton of, outside the state. Minnesota tends to be still relatively local, local rehab, local guys, ladies, and that, are building rental portfolios. We've seen some outside start to flow in. I don't know if you guys follow at all a gentleman named Pace Morby and his like sub 2 community, and he's out of the West Coast, and he's built this massive, like, it's the sub 2 financing, that sort of thing. And so we started to see some of that come in where that's kind of gone nationwide. But in general, like if we're just talking like Wall Street and that sort of money, like we don't see a ton of that in Minnesota. Whether that happens down the road, I don't know, but I have Tony, I don't know if you have.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that the obvious answer to that is Open Door, right? So they're the national Zillow, when they were buying, but Open Door is the largest national cash buying operation here. So they're the ones that operate. Their model is a bit different, and there's some other ones too, like Keegley is one that they do more like wholesaling, but they're kind of a national model, and they try to get properties, but they only wholesale them. They're not rehabbing. I doubt they really have many boots on the ground here, if any. Maybe they partner with a couple of agents or something, but they're a national operator. I think there's Open Door is by far, it would be the answer to your question about who the big national buyers are here in Minnesota.
Hi, this is Roxy Lewis. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, we can.
Okay, my reception's working now.
It is.
Hey, I just wanted to give a little bit of a testimony. Tony, I don't even know if you really know, you don't really know me, but I've worked with Shelly, and I worked on a couple properties as the Wisconsin agent, and most recently I can even testify to, you saying you passed off people. There was somebody that called you guys, and they're in Wisconsin. They wanted to sell for cash, but it was they also wanted top dollar. So you guys kind of connected them with me because you realized, hey, we can partner with them and we can all go home happy, but I'm going to connect them to a real estate agent that kind of works with our team to kind of give them what they need. So as my experience with you guys and kind of working on your team in a way, I've had a really good experience. And I think that as I've worked with you guys, there's been really good communication. Everybody wants what's best for everybody. And you guys have worked really, really well with the, I think I was on the sales side, and, when there was opportunities for me to maybe get both sides of the transaction, it was like, hey, yeah, go for it. If you think you can get a buyer in here and you're on the seller side, like, go for it. So I just wanted to kind of jump in there and say, as working with you guys in the Wisconsin deals, I felt like everything that you guys are saying and your reputation, it really stands up to what you're saying and from my experience. So just wanted to give you a shout out.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
Roxy's become our Wisconsin specialist. She's
Whoop, whoop.
she's and that's, I think that's a perfect example of how agents outside of just some of the house things and stuff, agents can come into play and benefit from having a relationship with us, because I think honestly, like the business Roxy's doing with us and whatnot is just going to grow as we grow our marketing and things. And we're not licensed agents in Wisconsin, so Roxy's getting she'll get quite a bit of business heading her way to do in Wisconsin. And so we've got a big reach, and I was excited when she came on board and started helping us with the Wisconsin properties, because those have been a challenge. So
Yeah, a little
so
bit. Good learning experiences though for everyone, right?
yes, good.
We all
Yeah.
grow.
So are you licensed, like, do you have your own brokerage, or are you licensed with NRG, or what's your brokerage situation?
Marie, I'm gonna go ahead and answer that. They are with NRG, so they are under our brokerage. So they are a team. They don't have their own brokerage, but they came to NRG last spring. And I was one of them that came with them as well. So definitely still under Randy. So they get all of their legal advice and everything from Randy, just like you guys would.
Okay. And then I have a relatively new client actually that was referred to me by a Remax agent that retired at the end of the year. I get to be the lucky one to get her referrals. Just because I had a transaction with her that went really well. So anyway, it's a pretty nice house up in Maple Grove. It's, 3 bedrooms, 3 full baths, second kitchen downstairs, but it's a weird floor plan. It needs all new flooring, needs kitchen rehab, completely open it up, blah, 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 blah. It's empty, but their renter had a German Shepherd for the last year that they lived there, and there's some damage from the dog, and then just general, it needs to be updated. They're thinking they want to go on the market, but all of a sudden they called me yesterday, wanted to look at a townhouse, and then it was, oh no, we have to get this rental on the market right away and get it sold. So I'm wondering if that even sounds like a fit, or what your margin usually is. When I look at Homestead Road or Open Door, they pay people about $100,000 less than what they try to sell it for, and all they do is maybe paint. So what's your market valuation system?
Yeah, so we, I mean, a lot of the operations underwrite similarly. So, we would think about it like if it doesn't hit our cash option, it's like our initial underwriting, we would go in there, do our rehab, do our underwriting, and see what our offer price would be as a cash offer if we were to go in there and do the rehab ourselves. And depending on the situation, like sometimes, like I said, we're not the best fit, and we will, we're transparent about that. We have, Paul, I don't know if you have any input on this, on some of the other options that we could do in a situation like this.
Yeah, I mean, I think, in general, I mean, let's just throw it out there and say, like, we can all speak freely and honestly here. The off-market option is probably always going to be less than what they're going to get on the market. I think we all know that. I mean, there's a cost to the speed and being able to, not do any repairs and leave things behind. I mean, I think you are correct in that sometimes they're significantly, like, you look at it and you're like, well, that's not, that offer doesn't make sense. But to your point, I mean, there is ways to to do it and stay as close as possible. My whole thing is just, it would be, I guess, how quick, you had said like they were wanting to move it quick to move into another place. It's the speed of it, right? Like, I mean, if it needed to be done in a couple days, it limits you down to, like, we got to be the cash buyer to, basically just close it. Like, we don't have any time to, bring other people through and stuff like that. I mean, if if they could give, 2 weeks and allow, an open house just to run other investors through it and whatnot, we can probably get more money. And it can still close pretty quick, but it wouldn't be that quick, 3 to 5 day turnaround.
I guess at the root of my question to a certain extent is, especially since it's a dual agency situation, if your bid is okay, it's as is and it's a quick close and we can only pay you this much because we are going to put this much into it, and then all you do is paint, that leaves a sour taste in this client's mouth. Like, why
What I
did you-
think I'm gonna do is, Tony, can you go back on your slides for a second and go to the before and after? So what I'm gonna tell you is this is what I do when I meet with clients. So go to the one, this one isn't that bad, Tony. Go to the other one, this one. So this is what I'm gonna tell you about this. What I do when I walk into a property that and honestly, it could be any property, it could be in pristine condition. What I'm going to say to them is I can give you some options. So if I walk into a property like this, most real estate agents are looking at these pictures and they're literally going, oh my God, I can't sell this property online. Nobody can do that. What I end up doing for them is I'm evaluating the property when I go in. I am then doing what a lot of other agents are, including, all the billboards we see with the guy with the arms out. We're giving them a cash offer. So I tell them, I have a company that I can partner with that they can give you a cash offer. So here it is. Or we can look at, going a different route and maybe, getting an investor to buy it. This is the option that they can give you. Or we can put it on the MLS like it is right now. And this is what you can get for it. So I kind of give them the 3 options, but I also think it's a really good tool to have in my toolbox to have somebody who can give a cash offer option with the pictures that look like this right now. And then Tony, if you flip to the done picture, I can 100% vouch for these guys to say they are not slapping paint up there. We could send you guys out to the before and the after. They have a crew and the general contractor who's actually doing the good repairs to this. They're not skimming any means.
Because I actually bought a Homestead Road house and I found their checklist of what they did. And of course, obviously, I saw what they paid for it. And I paid market value. So, I don't have a beef with what they did to involve me. But what they did to the previous owner is pretty much highway robbery. It's really pitiful what they did.
Just like I'm just gonna put this out there, just like in any business that you have, even you as an agent, you want good reviews, right? I think that their 4.5 rating on Google, that says a lot. That to me, because people will leave a bad review, for sure. But I also have to remind clients, this is a business and they have to make money too. They've got employees, just like anything else. So I just think of it as a tool, again, in that toolbox, and a really good connection to have. Because when I have a property that looks like that before, that I know is not going to get anywhere close on the MLS, it's just going to sit. I'm going those other options.
I think a big part of all this is, if you, like Tony had put it up, but like our mission statement and our values, I can tell you when we go sit in the living room, one of the things that is always said is, make sure you look at all your options. To Jill's point, we are just an option for you. And what we put in front of you is just options. I mean, we go as far as to say, 99% of the time, you're going to make more money if you go on the market and you do some things, go through the process, go on the market, do all those sort of things. The option we're going to provide you is really for, speed and, easy, quick, that sort of thing. But like, it is, I hear you. Cause I don't think I would be comfortable if I felt like, we weren't being upfront and honest with sellers of like, you do have a lot of options. Like, don't feel like this is your only way to get this done. Like we are just an option. If it makes sense for you, like, let's talk, let's figure something out. If not, like, we've been in a lot of houses, to your point, that you walk in and it's like the house itself has been rehabbed in the last 2 years. And it's like, to sell off market, it just doesn't make sense. Like unless you just desperately need the money or something and you got to be out in 3 days. I mean, you can't go on the market. We'll say like this 100% makes sense as a listing. You make it, above ask, those sorts of things. Like, but yeah, I think it's just that upfront honesty thing. I mean, in your scenario, I hope that actually happened with the original sellers of your house, and it was, hey, like here's where it is, but like you have these other options, and what makes sense for you. But yeah, good feedback, good thoughts.
The crazy part about it is, and you guys all know this, we go into these flip properties because there is a lot of different flip properties. I can walk in and in 2 seconds, I can be like, they did a good job with this flip, and applaud them for it. Or there's things that I can pick out and I can go, oof, they did a really bad job with this. They put the wrong things in there. They slapped some paint on it. And guess what? That's the feedback that you have to give your clients. So the one thing that I say is, if you have somebody who's doing it right, they're moving properties and stuff is happening and their reputation is staying there. So again, I just think it's kind of cool that we've got this tool at NRG to utilize. Marie, if I were you, I would give these guys a call and put it as an option out there. Again, it makes you look better as an agent to have that. I always say it's having a team of people around you, and you don't have to be on a team, but you've got these really cool resources that you can use.
One of my questions was going to be, if I'm talking with them tomorrow, and say, do you want someone to come in that would give you a bare bones cash offer so that you can compare what you want to do? Like, I don't want to waste your time in that way. So let me know if you'd be interested in just doing a quick run through and coming up with a number that chances are they'll probably put it on the market, but who knows? If they found a townhouse they wanted to do a cash offer, they might take you up on it.
The other option would be sell as is on MLS.
Yeah, that's how it will be.
I just know from personal experience, the team at Minnesota Home Guys, Shelly, Paul, all of those guys can actually, if you called them and just said, hey, I have this property, and gave them a little bit of info, they could probably help you with that, to give you, it's not going to be an exact, because like they said, they like to go out there and really look at the properties, and know what they're getting into. But I think a phone call actually can go a really long way.
Yeah, we've actually, and we're still in the process of trying to get better at this, but we can do virtual desktop appraisals, to the best of our ability, right? Like, we were talking about those properties that are, in southern Minnesota or northern Minnesota. We don't have somebody on the ground, and for us it would, 2+ hour drive to get one of our agents there. We have to have the ability to say, okay, send us pictures. We're looking at the same things you guys are in terms of, okay, what's sold, what are the comps, what do we, based on pictures, what do we think the rehab is? We can give you essentially a virtual estimate, being that the property you're discussing is obviously, local. We would, we would say basically, here's what we kind of think. Based on a walkthrough, it may change in either direction, but we can do that pretty quickly. Like once we have, the address and pictures, and we can turn around at least an estimate offer relatively quickly. So, I mean, that's, to your point, that's something, I think that's a good tool. And you know, your sellers, your clients, you know, there is obviously going to be a difference between off market and on market, but at least you can say, like, you know, if you had to move quick, here's kind of the ballpark you're going to be in for an as is off market offer, you know? And you guys would have that ability too. You know, we're in this with you guys. So I mean, if you guys called us and said, hey, where do you think this is or whatnot, like, we could completely give you guys an idea.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, we've got about 1 more minute. Is there any other questions for these guys as we have them on the call?
I take it you guys are fine if we want to be there when you guys do the walkthrough and stuff like that. I always like to see how things are evaluated on, you know, so I've done a fair amount of rehab on my house, but knowing how much today's market's going to cost, you get, you know, because a follow-up call with you guys afterwards could do me benefits in the aspect that way I know what you guys are averaging cost-wise into it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I'd be happy to yeah, be there during the walkthrough and you know, kind of chat through what in our minds we would do to the property to get it ready for the market. And then, you know, we'll go back and run our numbers and stuff, and we can have another follow-up conversation to chat through the scope of work and where we see the rehab coming in at. So yeah, absolutely.
Thanks again, you guys.
Thank you.
Awesome.
All
Thank
right.
you.
The last thing I just want to say is maybe you know, March, April, we'll look at getting something set up when Paul even does like an open house. We'll get something set up, you know, for NRG agents to come and just experience what they do more hands-on. I think that would probably help because we can talk about it, we can see it all day, but actually experiencing it, it's a different animal to look at. But
I'll pick a fun one, Jill, that everybody can come visit me at.
Yes.
There's some that you guys would come and you guys would walk in and you'd be like, okay, Paul, good seeing you.
I'm out.
I'm out. I've seen
Where's
enough.
my mask?
I'm gonna go home and take a shower real quick. Yeah, no, there's some interesting ones, but yeah, I think, Jill, that would be a lot of fun. And truly, I think, I mean, I came from, you know, the residential side. It is, you know, those of you guys who, if you haven't got involved much with like investment agents and things like that, this is it's a different side of real estate. I mean, these homes, it can be challenging, it can be sad, you know, some of these things that we actually come across. But it is eye-opening to see some of these homes that, you know, when if you don't see, to see the before and not just the after, put it that way.
Yeah, I see it as these people at this company are really helping people. When there is not a solution, I do believe that they're picking this up and they're problem solving it, and they're helping people get out of a really bad situation that they wouldn't have any other option. So I see the value in it. Again, it is a different side of real estate that we're not used to seeing. But I think with the real estate market the way it's going, you have to be open to other options. You have to get creative. You've got to problem solve in order to make things work. So again, we're just really lucky that we've got this tool here. So you guys reach out to them if you have any other questions. You know, reach out to Tony, reach out to Paul. Anybody on their team is more than willing to help. I can vouch for that. And then the only other thing that I'm going to say is if you guys, again, we've got that event coming up on Saturday. So make sure you RSVP. And then next week, I am the main speaker here next week. We're going to be talking about expireds. I know you guys have been begging me to do an expireds class. So I'm going to go ahead and do that next Tuesday. So bring all of your questions you have for that. Otherwise, I really, really appreciate Tony's time, and I appreciate Paul's time. And again, check them out if you know, are in a different area in Minnesota as well. I know we've got some up north agents here. We've got some down south agents. Connect with them and just see how you can work. Again, this is a really good way to utilize some business in a market that is crazy, again, that we have to just get really creative with. So thank you guys so much for your time. Reach out to them. We'll have them back. I promise you that. So otherwise, go out there, you guys, do something amazing this week and spread some joy and some love in the universe and enjoy that weather.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.